I'm going to be reading This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. The name of the song is This Lullaby. At this point, I probably heard it about 1,000,000 times, approximately. At this point in the book, I was thinking, what does this song sound like? Is it a country song? Is it a rock song? Who knows? All my life, I've been told about how my father wrote it the day I was born. He was on the road somewhere in Texas, already split from my mom. The story goes that he got word of my birth, sat down with his guitar, and just came up with it right there in a room at Motel 6. An hour of his time, just a few chords, 2 verses, and a chorus. He'd been writing music all his life, but in the end, it would be the only song he was known for. Even in death, my father was a one-hit wonder. Or 2, I guess, if you count me. Now, the song was playing overhead as I sat in a plastic chair at the car dealership in the first week of June. It was warm, everything was blooming, and summer was practically here. Which meant, of course, that it was time for my mom to get married. Again. This was her 4th time, 5th if you include my father. I chose not to. But they were, in her eyes, married. It being united in the middle of the desert by someone they'd met at a rest stop only moments before counts as married. It does to my mom. But then she takes on husbands the way other people change their hair color. Out of boredom, listlessness, or feeling that this one will fix everything, once and for all. Back when I was younger, when I asked my mom about my dad and how they met, when I was still curious, she'd just sigh, wave her hand, and say, "Oh, Remy, it was the 70s, you know." Here, I began to ask myself, why would her mom not talk about her dad? Remy was just curious. My mother always thinks I know everything, but she's wrong. All I know about the 70s is what I learned in school and from the History Channel. Vietnam, President Carter, and the disco. And all I know about my father, really, was this lullaby. Through my life, I'd heard it in the backgrounds of commercials and movies, at weddings, dedicated long distance, on radio countdowns. My father may be gone, but the song goes on still. Even eventually, it will outlive me. It was in the middle of the second chorus that Don Davis of Don Davis Motors stuck his head out of his office, saw me, and said, "Oh, Remy, honey, I'm sorry you had to wait. Come on in." I got up and followed him in. In 8 days, Don would become my stepfather, joining a not-so-exclusive group. He was the first car salesman, the second Gemini, and the only one with money of his own. He and my mother met right there in his office when we came in to buy her a new Camry. I'd come alongside because I know my mother. She'd pay the list price right off the bat, assuming it was set, like buying oranges or toilet paper at the grocery store. And of course, they'd let her because my mother is somewhat well known and everyone thinks she is rich. Our first salesman looked right out of college and almost collapsed when he saw my mom walk right up to a fully loaded New Year model, poked her head inside, get a whiff of that new car smell. She took a deep breath, smiled, and announced, "I'll take it." "Mom," I said, trying to not grit my teeth, but she knew better. The entire ride over, I'd been prepping her with specific instructions on what to say, how to act, everything we needed to do to get a good deal. She kept telling me she was listening, even as she kept filling with the air conditioning vents and playing with my automatic windows. I swear, that was what had really led to this new car fever, the fact that I had just gotten a new one. After she'd blown it, it was up to me to take over. I started asking the salesman direct questions, which made him nervous. He kept glancing past me at her as if I was some kind of trained attack dog she could easily put into a sit. I'm used to this. But just as he started to squirm, we were interrupted by Don Davis himself, who made quick work of sweeping us into his office and falling hard for my mom within a matter of 15 minutes. They sat there making googly eyes at each other while I haggled him down $3,000, got him to throw in a maintenance plan, a sealant coat, and a charger for the CD. It had to be the best bargain in Toyota history. Not that anyone noticed. It is just expected that I will handle it, whatever it is, because I'm my mom's business manager, therapist, handyman, and now wedding coordinator. Lucky, lucky me. Here, I ask myself, why does she do all this for her mom? Why is it up to her to solve all the problems? And this is where I'm going to finish reading the book.